AI video is officially here, folks, and it is absolutely insane. What's up, guys? It's Cam Brown with Minds Vault Media. Welcome back to another episode of the Vault Podcast. This is episode number 6. Super excited to be back with you guys. Today, we're going to be diving into some brand new announcements in the world of AI. We're going to be talking specifically about AI video. So as many of you already know, OpenAI just announced this past week one of its latest projects, which is OpenAI Sora. For those of you who don't know what that is, in summary, Sora is an AI video generator that can essentially create video clips of any level, cartoon, hyper-realistic, vintage, film, whatever, just from a single simple text prompt. As we go through this, I'm going to touch on each one of these briefly to show you examples of what the current version, which is basically a beta version of Sora, is capable of producing. So jumping right into these clips, every single one of these that you're seeing on the screen right now are AI generated clips. Everyone is made from Sora without even having any additional editing or work or anything done to them. And according to the website, it is just straight out of the engine. So first initial thoughts here is that this is both absolutely impressive and absolutely insane. I remember not too long ago when we were looking at what AI could do, the photos that it were producing were surprisingly very on par. There was a wide range of things that you could do and things that you could create. Everything from cartoon-like images all the way up to hyper-realistic drawings and photos and everything. But the videos look like something out of like a drug-induced, nightmarish kind of scenario that were being put together. And just keeping everything real here, every once in a while, you do still catch a glimpse or a hint of that here and there. But there's no denying that for the most part, this is certainly not the case anymore. Let's go ahead and jump a little bit more in depth here and go over some of the different categories of video clips it's producing and what those look like. The first one I want to start with are just clips of humans. So looking at some of these generations that include all the humans and everything back to back, it's literally mind-blowing. Like, these are shots that look like they came out of camera or were produced from any other standard creative process, but they aren't. They're literally generated just from words. Taking a closer look at one of these here, we have a Chinese New Year parade or festival or something like that. And if you were seeing this on social media, just scrolling down through things, even if this was blown up as like a headliner video or something on your TV or on YouTube or something, at first glance, you probably would not be able to tell that this was AI generated. Literally all they typed into the generator was a Chinese Lunar New Year celebration video with Chinese dragon. And that's what was generated, which is just insane to me. It's crazy that it can do this. Here are some more hyper-realistic and detail-oriented shots, as well as some other drone shots and things kind of sprinkled in there. And again, if you look closely on some of these, you can tell it's AI. Like on this one right here of these birds, the water seems a bit off to me. It just doesn't seem fully natural. But again, these are things that you're looking for in this image. And on this one with the train, it almost looks like it's like too perfect. I mean, with these other ones that it's got though, like the image of the chameleon and of this other bird over here, I mean, it's just astounding the level of detail that this thing is able to produce and how realistic it looks with the detail. These drone shots as well, like looking at some of these, you can generate a drone shot from any location that you want, and the movement of it, the detail is just very, very clean. This drone shot right here is from Amalfi Coast, and that looks awesome. This one's from Santorini. This one's from Tokyo in the snow, and just everything in the, like, even down to the humans, the people that are moving, like it just is blowing my mind. It's amazing. Like this one literally just says a cartoon kangaroo that disco dances, and it's generated a whole scene. I mean, look at him. He's got an audience. They gave him an outfit. He is moving and grooving. Like, this is impressive stuff. A couple quick updates before we keep moving through this episode. A couple of you who have watched or listened before may be wondering why it's just me. I opted to make the Vault podcast a solo cast. We're still having guests on the podcast for sure, but to make sure that we could keep up with the production schedule and address everything that I wanted to, I just felt like solo podcasting would be a great direction for things to go for this. One more thing before moving along, we just relaunched our newsletter called Inside the Vault. The newsletter is a completely free resource, just like this YouTube channel and this podcast, available to you guys to help you become better filmmakers, photographers, and professional creatives. Right now, it is in its baby stages, but we're working on lots of cool projects behind the scenes. So educational projects, assets, courses, mentorships, all things to help you grow. And if you subscribe before they're announced, you'll not only be in the know, but you'll also receive discounts on all those products and all those future assets. So if you are even remotely interested in improving yourself as a filmmaker or a photographer or any of those projects that we have coming down the line, I would suggest that you go and subscribe. It's only going to help you out. It takes literally like 5 seconds, and it's free 99 to help your growth and invest in your future. So enough about that. Let's jump back into this episode. So we just saw how powerful of a tool Sora is shaping up to be. Immediately, there are a couple key questions and points of discussion that come to mind for me. The first is, what does this mean for the creative industry? I think it's going to revolutionize the way that we create forever, which on one hand is very, very exciting. I mean, we're literally in the middle of a major point in our history. To my knowledge, we've never had this type of technology, something that's this powerful, available, and so accessible to everyone in the public space. For those who take the time to learn how to use it and incorporate it into a workflow, I think it's going to be extremely useful and a complete game changer. I also think that those of us who don't take the time to invest into this new technology and train ourselves with it appropriately are definitely going to be left behind. I do think it's worth noting that this is also opening a door to a lot of creatives who probably beforehand were restricted by a lot of limiting factors like funding, like access to different resources and stuff like that. This is going to be a game changer for those people as well because of everything you can do with access to so little. Now, that being said, it will also open the door for tons of other people who are, quite frankly, literally just looking for the cheapest, the fastest, the easiest quality content that they can get their hands on. I think ultimately that leads us to be forced to look at another side of it, which is a little scary to consider because of what it could mean for certain people's jobs and certain people's livelihoods in the creative industry. Specifically, how that's going to affect people like animators, graphic design artists, filmmakers, stuff like that. The second thing that comes to mind is this going to replace videography and filmmaking? And my personal thoughts and answer on that is no, with a little asterisk there, of course. I don't think it will replace it entirely. I think it will affect a chunk of the industry for sure, and that it will go through the same sort of process that happens with pretty much every new piece of technology. Something new comes in, it solidifies its place in the creative industry or in whatever industry it's being brought into, and then inevitably something old is usually pushed out. The closest example I can think of this that happened just recently is with the smartphone. As smartphone camera quality and accessibility finally started to solidify itself in more of our everyday lives, you see way less people buying digital cameras. I'm talking about the more easy consumer digital cameras and stuff like that. Of course, you still have cameras and all that stuff being sold to people like vloggers and content creators and filmmakers and everything. But the people who were doing things like recording their son or daughter's soccer game, taking pictures at a family get together or event or something, a lot of them are leaning more into their phones because it's easier, it's more convenient, and it's just a better tool to get the job done. So why not? Some other things that come to mind for me in regards to this topic are authenticity. I think that AI video is very impressive, but there's something about it that still just doesn't feel 100% authentic. And I think that there's a fine line between authenticity and efficiency. So to give you an idea of what I mean by that, I can go on ChatGPT right now and have it generate a whole blog for me in less than 10 seconds. And because that is so efficient, it's accepted by people and utilized in a day-to-day workflow. But to have someone actually read the blog or to have the blog still do the job that it was made for, that's when you start to look a little bit deeper than the efficiency that AI provides. Once you get past the magic of being able to create things out of thin air, you start to realize it's just another tool. And so what really matters in the end is the core concepts of creating content or making things for a brand or for a business or for a video or a story in the first place. You have to have good content behind these items. Otherwise, they're just tools. Brands and businesses and creators and stuff, I think that all of them who end up trying to transfer in and rely 100% on AI and replace the other value that people in these jobs provide, I think it's only going to get them so far, because again, there's just something in there that you just can't replace that humans provide that AI cannot. So that's why I see it turning into more of a tool and an asset to aid in creation and in production, as opposed to something that's going to entirely replace people. So that kind of begs the question of like, where will AI fit into the industry, especially AI video fitting into the industry? I feel like this AI video is going to quickly solidify itself as the new stock footage. When you just break it down logistically, if someone wants a quick stock footage clip of something, all they have to do is type that in instead of having to go online and trying to license it, let alone that's still not factoring in the time that it would take to track down that clip, to search through all the different libraries and stuff like that. You can just type in directly what you want. So I see this very, very quickly solidifying itself in the stock video footage market. Corporate and marketing style jobs as well. I have a lot of corporate clients that I work with, and the name of the game for them is usually speed and efficiency. So looking at what this can do for speed and efficiency, it only makes sense that this is going to be a tool that they will welcome with open arms. A lot of times they like to have quality content, but they don't really care about how it gets done as long as it's not really hurting their business or making them look bad. So I see this as being a huge asset to working with those corporate and marketing videos and branding companies and all that stuff, just to make a much more efficient and much quicker process for them. Filmmaking for sure is definitely a market that I see this solidifying in as well, for big budget filmmaking and for small budget filmmaking especially as well. Now you have the ability to generate scenes of all different types, cartoon style scenes, hyper realistic ones that look like they were shot straight out of film. You can generate those from text prompts. Now smaller creators and smaller film teams can bring their visions to life, or at least get one step closer to bringing their visions to life with a tool that is much more accessible and affordable for them. And then lastly, I see it creating new skill sets and new jobs in our industry. So as much as it may come in and kind of push some other things out, I see a big opportunity in becoming an artistic or basically an expert prompt generator for AI. At the end of the day, a tool is still a tool. So that means there's gonna have to be someone who learns how to use that tool. And I think it will open up a very unique job opportunity and market space for some of us filmmakers and videographers to basically give ourselves another avenue of translating our vision out of our head and into reality for our clients. I think that's gonna be pretty cool. So that's it. That is everything for today's episode of the Vault Podcast. The question I'm going to leave you with is, what do you think of AI video? Is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? Is this something that we should be excited about as filmmakers, or should we be feeling a little anxious and a little bit scared about what is coming and how it's coming so quickly? What are some of the potential uses that you see AI video having in the creative industry or in a day-to-day workflow? And is AI something that you plan on embracing and bringing into your workflow, or is it just a fad and something that's going to blow over within the next year or two? As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video and you did enjoy the content, I invite you guys to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so you can have more videos like this coming your way. And other than that, I'll catch you guys in the next one.